Management, as we perceive it, is the functions that hold people accountable. So it's the tools and it's the behaviors that checks off boxes to make sure things were done the way they were supposed to. Leadership, we believe, is somewhat different than that, and it's really about inspiring and motivating people to check off those boxes that they should be held accountable for. So what we find a lot of times is that a person sometimes is a good leader or a good manager, and our role with the training that we try to offer is to bring both of those together, where you're able to hold people accountable, but also inspire and motivate them to do the things that you want them to do. It's really mastering the culture, or setting up the culture in the organization. That bringing all those things together is generally perceived to be a major challenge for most companies, and I think that is because I think the level of deepness that a company has to go to in order to reach the kind of success they want, most companies are just unaware of what level of deepness they have to go to. The reason for the lack of leadership and why it's very challenging for people is it really boils down to an issue of maturity. And maturity has to be seen in a little bit of a different kind of definition. We first, define it as just beginning to accept there's no more excuses. One of the things we spend a lot of time in organizations is blaming others for their role in it. But part of this is when you get started in looking at maturity, as we believe, is there's no more excuses, and because there are no more excuses, there are courageous conversations that then need to be had because of that mandate that we can't blame others. So I think that when you look at the stuff that's going on in our economy, the stuff that's going on in our schools, it really is that someone needs to be reminded that maturity is really what's missing. And we recently published a book called The Mature 64, which basically looks at 8 roles that a mature person or organization or community would have in their life in the 8 different domains of life, which is health and recreation and education. And I think that really does give a pretty good idea of a kind of review that a person as well as an organization can go through as a way of determining whether or not they are as mature as they need to be based on what they want to accomplish.